and I recently were with my parents. They had asked us to drive them to the car dealership where they were going to do the final transaction on a car that they had recently picked out for themselves. So Bruce and I decided to hang around, and it was interesting because it was during quarantine. So the salesman had to keep running in to get something off his desk, in to use the copy machine, in to visit the finance guy. It was very interesting. And Bruce and I had a front row seat to the whole thing. And when he would run off, we would look around and explore all the fun features of this new car. It was pretty fun. So at one point, my dad just kind of burst forth with some words. He said, "It is so good to see God's hand all over the place, every step of the way." You see, my dad knows where his help comes from, the maker of heaven and earth. That phrase comes from Psalm 121, verse 2. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. My dad went on to list several of the graces that they had received from the Lord over the last several weeks. Times that they had noticed where God was working on their behalf. My dad was giving credit where credit was due. In the Bible, sometimes this is called glorifying God or bringing God glory. And there's lots of ways to glorify God, but this is one of them, to out loud speak instances where we can see God's hand moving. Are we actively doing that right now? Are we noticing the nearness and the goodness of God, even through trials? The tough times? Are we enduring? Are we holding on? Are we persevering, as James puts it, even flourishing through trials because we are noticing the goodness and the nearness of God? Instead, the alternative, losing hope and floundering. If we will do this, if we will actively look around and notice what God is doing, I can think of 3 good things that will happen. 1, we ourselves will notice that our maturing of our faith. Our faith will begin to grow even more when we notice what God is doing. Number 2, if we do this out loud, then the people who witness that will be reminded of God's goodness and nearness themselves and may find occasion to praise God. And then number 3, God gets the attention that he deserves. You and I are not getting together much these days to exchange little stories of what God is doing in our lives. So let's do this instead. Let's make a big list, church. A list where each of us can go on and show and tell what God is doing in our lives. I will start. I will post in the comments section something about Emily and a window that happened last week at our house. And then you can add different, what things that God has done for you on this Facebook page, Anthem Community Church's Facebook page. Tell us where you see God's hand all over the place, every step of the way. I can't wait to be encouraged and to praise God for what he's doing over at your place.